All right, here we are, Mr. Arthur, the Talking Doves podcast. They said it would stop at Thanksgiving. It did not. They said it would take a hurricane to stop us. It did not. They said it would be at the end of the semester, and we are still rolling.
Here we are.
Here we are. Look at it. Take it in.
There's
Uh,
somebody at the door, Mr. Riley,
right now,
right now.
of course there is. I'll pause. All right, Mr. Arthur. False alarm. That means someone was at the door. Uh, Delightful meeting. But we're back.
We're back.
Guess who's back? We are back. Anyway, so Mr. Arthur, we are going to go into where is this? This is where we talk about everything that happened this week. And this week is a little bit different. And it seems like all weeks are a little bit different, but this week was a little different too. Um, what day of the week did we actually first start coming to school, Mr. Arthur?
I think it was Wednesday.
Okay.
I don't quite remember Monday and Tuesday because it was so cold. My brain quit working.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. I had. Yeah. Ooh. Yes. And there was a lot that was happening for such a short week. The week didn't need to be that short. Uh, but here's the thing: we had 2 snow days. We can't bump a week up to 9 days total, so we had to take them somewhere.
yeah,
I'm glad it was a Monday, Tuesday, and we didn't have like Monday was school, Tuesday, Wednesday was snow, Thursday was school. That would have been awful.
I've been tragic.
So the Lord gave us snow on the weekend. It was a great time. Uh, Mr. Arthur, before we talk about the week, what did we do on Monday with Facebook and Instagram?
Well, we had a snow day contest. We saw a lot of our students were posting pictures or their parents were posting pictures. And so, to get our students involved, we decided to host a contest um, where we ask you all to post your snow day pictures and hashtag it Winfield FFA and pick a winner for a Sonic gift card. And are we announcing that winner right now, Mr. Riley?
Do you want to, Mr. Arthur?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's
Um,
fine with
we
me.
had a panel of bipartisan judges look at the pictures through Facebook and Instagram, and they decided on David Simmons. And Mr. Riley and I were talking about his picture, and it was actually 3 pictures. It was a series of him jumping
Yes.
into the snow, and it was really excellent quality. You can't just show it with one picture; you'd have to see all 3 of them. But it was excellent. And then we kind of had to create a senior division, Mr. Riley, where we had Mr. Steve Vines posted his pictures, member from 64 to 67, and a 49-year teacher of the program posted his snowman picture. So check out our Facebook and Instagram for that. Those pictures will be posted soon.
Yes. What a what a great time. I loved Mr. Vines' picture. It was great. Really getting into the spirit of that snow day, and with David's, it really stresses how much snow is 5 inches of snow.
Definitely.
Oh man, it was not a fresh, fluffy layer that he fell into.
Oh no, no, it was not, not at all.
All right, Mr. Arthur. That took us really. Monday was the snow. Tuesday was the aftermath of the snow. One of the coldest days, or the coldest day of the year so far. And we came to school on Wednesday. There was still snow under some trees. I think my carport still had snow on the top of it. But we were able to come to school, thankfully. And we put 4 days into 2.
Yes, we did.
That was, Ag 3 4 had started their projects last week. Their ag business project was going to be their final, their big, deal. We didn't get to put as much time into it because we just didn't have the time.
Right.
But Mr. Arthur, we had uh, three different projects, and if you would indulge me just a second, I'm going to pause. I'm going to run go get my notebook. I'm going to read you the 3 proposals just real quick. I want you to pick a winner live.
Okay. Sounds good.
Is that okay? All right. All right. I'm out of breath, Mr. Arthur, but I got it. Okay. All right, I'm going to read this in a random order. Okay. I'm not going to tell you members' names. I'm going to tell you the name of the business, what the business did, and sorry. All right, and one point that I wrote down from their presentation. Okay. So we have Imperial Salmon. Okay, an Imperial Salmon, they were going to raise, it was going to be a salmon farm in Alaska. And their first step, they were going to raise it and sell it to businesses, Walmart and that kind of thing. They weren't going to do direct selling. It was just going to be through retailers. And let me see. I think at one point, and I'm going to keep this very educational, but they said their first step was we have to catch fish. So they were going the organic way, whatever. All right, so then we go to No Boys Allowed. No Boys Allowed is a egg production farm. They were going to have hens, absolutely no roosters, and they were going to raise eggs to sell. They were going to make it where it was, free range and organic, so they could get that extra, kicker, that added value currently in the market. And going to try to make the most of it. Mm-hmm. But or the one thing that I really liked from theirs is they said it was going to be a cooperative, but because it was chickens, they said a cooperative. Chicken coop. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that probably way more than it was intended to be enjoyed. But
I'm not asking you to confirm or deny this, but I'm assuming that Anna Little was on that team.
Moving on to the next one. Moving on, we have Moose Masters.
Moose Masters.
Moose Masters, yes. You've heard of Bass Masters. Nope. Moose Masters. Okay. This one was going to be, you guessed it, a moose farm. And they were going to be based in Canada. I forgot to tell you, No Boys Allowed was based in Texas. Okay. Moose Masters, based in Canada. They really, when they were getting their mission statement, they really wanted the people to know what we do is moose. What we do is moose.
As if that wasn't implied by the name. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. But they were raising moose for dual purpose. One, as a draft breed. They wanted people to be able to use it for local transportation.
Did you know that moose can run up to 35 miles an hour?
I heard it 7 times this week. And second is that as a meat breed, they wanted to use it as for the meat quality and for the draft breed of it. So, Mr. Arthur, which one you can pick it based on any merit you want. You can base it off of the ability for it to actually take place. You can base it on what you prefer. You can base it on anything.
Okay. Well, I was kind of checking off a few boxes in my head as you're reading. One of them was it agricultural? Mm-hmm. And technically, I think all of those would count as agricultural, yes. Which probably was something you said in the assignment had to be.
Correct.
So, then I was thinking about how realistic it was, and then how agricultural friendly it was. And you had me on that first one until we said organic, and then we weren't going to farm them, we were going to catch them. And so I kind of lost some points there. As creative as the moose farm was, or whatever you said, I'm going to have to go with the chickens, the egg farm.
Right. And, we had just had the GMO talk, and, there's several things that go into the organic egg production thing. And, they looked at it and they saw that basically what they do already, because this child does have free range, or
Right.
they do have chickens. It's they're raising organic chickens basically already,
Right.
and that's what a lot of times eggs raised at home are organic, because that's a very loose term when it comes to eggs.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. The value added is not worth it for what the markup you have to pay for it. It bears almost no merit to it at all to consume those organic eggs. But if you are already fulfilling that market, and you can get that value added to it, you take advantage of it, because it makes your $2 a dozen go to $4 a dozen. So that was where they stood on it, Mr. Rowe.
And I'm definitely not, didn't say that to bash organics per se. There's definitely pros and cons for organic products, and I'm not going to get into that today. But just thinking of an agribusiness and how to make the most money, fishing is probably not your best option, which is why I chose the egg farm.
Right.
So, anyway, good ideas. I like it. I like adding that agribusiness into Ag 3. I think that's really important.
And what I made them do, and this is what I wanted more time with, was do like market research kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because we were really trying to hit those ag tech qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And so as they did their presentations, I had to mix marketing functions in there, and layer that in as they went, so they would just be familiar with that for the ag tech test.
Right.
But one thing they had to do was find a market that they could go into very easily. And so that's why none of them picked Winfield, because they're trying to reach different markets. Because it'd be very boring to just have a bunch of projects based in Winfield.
Right.
So, that being said, Mr. Arthur, I'm sorry to dominate the conversation. What are you thinking?
Just real quick, wanted to talk about our week in Ag 2, and then we could talk a little bit about Ag 1. But Ag 2, we finished up our wood duck boxes. For those of you that were in Ag 2, thank you for an awesome job that you did with those, and we're going to get those donated to a wildlife refuge or a national forest maybe, or something. We've got to get with a guy and talk to him about where they need to go. But I think we ended up with 14 boxes, if I'm not mistaken. So excellent job. Those are definitely going to be put to use. The next thing was Ag 1. I thought we had a pretty fun week, considering with Ag 1 we didn't have as much time with them as we'd like this week, but kind of did a CDE overview of the contest that they're going to be able to try out for over the next 6 weeks or so, Mr. Riley. Is that right? And we had some students come in and guest speak. We had some demonstrations that we did. And so I thought it ended up being a pretty good week. I know some of it, was not interesting to some students, but I think every student found something that they were interested in. And that was the point.
Yeah, I thought, and it started last week with the podcast. We talked about some of those new contests last week. And, I've had a couple of students reach out to me because of that. And I thought that was really cool. And some of those contests they're asking about, we had demonstrations on, or we had people come in, or we had our students come and talk about them. So I thought that was really, it was building very well, very cohesive. So, Mr. Arthur, does that kind of wrap up the week?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 days.
On top of testing and internet issues, and it was a packed 2 days, but we made it.
We made it. We did it, guys. People said we couldn't, but we did it. We did 2 days, and 2 days of snow, and 2 days of testing, and 2 days of ag. It was about 12 days this week, really. So that takes us that finishes us up for this portion of the podcast. So we will go on to the next segment, and no commercial breaks here, obviously, Mr. Arthur. So I guess we will go on with those odd eyes that you got rolling on. I won't comment on them anymore. That's kind of weird. So
In my eyes,
yeah, you got
yeah,
the
I figured
clear.
that.
Well, Mr. Arthur, you need to be able to see. You
I
know.
can see. I'm close enough. This is the reflection
Okay.
turns it.
All right.
I think, Mr. Riley, we're going to talk a little bit about FFA news, calendar updates, that kind of thing. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Because we are now to when is this? We're going to talk about the calendar, which I don't know if Mr. Arthur can read the calendar right now.
Yes, I can read the calendar.
Oh, look at you.
Um, Guys, if you'll bear with me just a little bit, there's a lot of words on the calendar, so I'm going to have to kind of go through and discern what we need to talk about. But we did get our spring calendar this week. And Mr. Riley, I believe it goes through April. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You know, and so many of you have either started working on your contest already or are planning to get into that. And so we have some dates that I think are going to be important for you guys.
PE teachers, be sure you have your grades posted.
Mr. Riley, are you a PE teacher?
While you continue that, I'll check my paperwork and make sure I'm not sure.
February, although we don't have anything specifically on the calendar that you guys will have to do or contest, we will be training, full on training in the month of February. Well, some of that will be during class, some of that will be after school, and we will release a schedule for you guys of when those practices will be after school. But because we have an hour and a half with you during the day, we're hoping to get most of that training done at that point. Starting March the 1st through March the 15th, we will have our spring contest. And so that includes meat ID, nursery landscape, vet science, electricity, poultry. And so we'll have all of those within that week. Every one of them has a day specifically for it, so we won't double up any days there. And those contests, Mr. Riley, the fine print here is getting me, I think they start at 12:30.
That is how it reads. Now, with those that we did back during the summer, 12:30 meant we can log on at 12:30. We actually start competing at 1:30. I don't know, but it's a 12:30 start.
So we're going to talk with Dr. Griffin and see if we can make some arrangements to have you guys in the ag shop. Surely that these contests will be done no later than 3:30, 4:30, so you won't be a late day for you. Because Mr. Riley and I will be preparing for the next contest the next day when we wrap that up. For those of you who are doing proficiency applications, we've talked to you, and those are due on March the 22nd, which is a little earlier than usual, Mr. Riley, but I think we have some hardworking students and we can get those done maybe on some Fridays. But we have some excellent proficiency awards. Winfield has not done those in several years, so hopefully we'll get back in the game and bring home some awards that way. Of course, right after Easter, we will jump into the month of April as it concerns FFA. Forestry will be April the 14th. So those of you who are doing a CDE and forestry, you'll have a little bit of time, to just focus specifically on forestry. For those of you who forestry is your CDE, you've got a bunch of time to prepare for that contest. And then dairy, cattle, and livestock are at the end of April. Dairy will be April the 23rd, and then livestock will be April the 30th. And so we will work with you guys specifically and really intensely after we finish spring CDEs for those contests. Mr. Riley, the last thing that I have on my calendar is April the 29th is our Area 2 LDEs. And LDEs are leadership development events. And that's going to be PLAW, any of our speaking contests, which is Creed, Extemporaneous, Prepared, and Gulf of Mexico. Also, job interview will be that day. So if you have started training for that, we will be getting with you to do some after school practices as well for those contests. That'll be April the 29th. And then that's where our calendar ends, Mr. Riley. And we hopefully will know more about state convention in June, and then some contests later in July. Hopefully in the next month or so, but we'll see.
Yeah, Mr. Arthur, I'm reminded of, I don't know if you know about how Major League Baseball schedule used to work, but there was a married couple that had a marketing, accounting, scheduling kind of firm, and those two people scheduled every baseball game for like 30 years, 25 years. They did it by hand. Um, I think I kind of see a glimpse of their struggle as we schedule practices for these what feels like 30 contests.
Yeah.
So uh, if you have bared with us this long, you heard Mr. Arthur say we're getting with you, and then you say something else and we're getting with you and we're getting with you. If you feel like we're not getting with you promptly enough, there's a chance that we didn't forget, but we have uh, misplaced that note for that day. So please, if you don't feel like, if you're like, hey, I think I should be working on something else, talk to us, and or not really something else, but if I should be working on something in addition to what I'm doing right now, talk to us because we do have several of you that have 3 or 4 dates on this calendar in the next 3 months.
Mr. Riley, I also forgot to mention, and I mentioned the contest in July. Horse evaluation is scheduled for July. So those of you who are interested in doing that horse contest, I encourage you to go out for a CDE as well. Let's train for that CDE, and then after we finish that up, you'll have another 3 or 4 weeks to train um, for horse before we get out of school. So for horse evaluation and also for food science, those will be in the summertime. And I promise you, we have, again, like Mr. Ryan said, have not forgotten you. We just need to take care of our April 1st, I mean, our March 1st contest before we add more to the plate.
Um, you know, I've talked to pretty much every Ag 1 student, every 3-4 student. I haven't really spoke much to Ag 2, but these contests mean a lot to us.
Yep.
We take these very seriously, and we will do everything in our power to make you all the most successful you can be in whatever contest you have selected. And absolutely, with things like horse and dairy livestock, if you're an older student, especially, you can handle more, and so, do a couple of contests. That is absolutely fine and really, really an awesome thing to do.
And I think we call this ag specialization. And you're specializing in an area of agriculture. It is perfectly fine for you to want to know more about another area.
Yeah.
And so, if you are a dairy cattle student and that contest isn't until the end of April, well, hop in on Nursery Landscape and learn a little bit about plant science on top of the animal science knowledge that you already have. So, and you don't have to go out for that team if you don't feel like it, but it's a great way for you to learn more knowledge about agriculture.
Right. Yeah, I think stacking as much knowledge as you can, awesome. Do it and be well rounded. After my second year of ag, Mr. Arthur, I just kind of bounced around. Really, after my first year in ag, I just bounced around because I wanted to know a little bit of all of it,
Yeah.
especially in the spring contests. So, awesome things. A lot of important dates coming up. So just stay on top of it. Listen to the podcast every week. We go through the calendar pretty much every week, or you say, what's upcoming. Um, but Mr. Arthur, do you have anything else FFA wise?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to an excellent spring semester. I mentioned I believe it was Ag 2, maybe Ag 1 yesterday. I forget. Runs together. We won 6 state banners last year and I think 11 or 12 area pennants, and we're hoping to at least match that, if not do better, because we have more resources than we had last year. My knowledge has grown, and and we have more students this year. So, having Mr. Riley on deck, I think we're going to have a really successful spring season. We hope that you know that we care about you and we want you to succeed. And so we'll do whatever we can to make that happen.
All right, Mr. Arthur, I think that is a great ending point for this section of the podcast. This kind of wraps us up for when is this? So I think we should go into our final segment of what is this? So for what is this week, Mr. Arthur, there has been an epidemic, if you will, around the officer team, as they have been listening to one particular song of a band that I listened to in the early 2010s, and it's one of Bethany's favorites. It's one of my favorites. The band, they kind of had 3 albums, and they kind of fizzled out after they had an untimely mashup with the Black Eyed Peas. But it doesn't matter. Um, for some reason, they thought I never told them that I love this band, but they put it on my soundtrack, my Christmas present. The one particular song, and so I played it every once in a while around the department, and somebody was coming through, and they're like, I've heard this song this is a non-officer. They were coming through, and they're like, I've heard this song so much in the past couple of weeks. I was like, really? Where? And he named like 3 officers, and for some reason it's going around. It's from the script, Mr. Arthur. Are you familiar with the script?
Yeah.
Okay. So the script, and I'll start the quiz. The script, they are a rock band. Um, they were formed in 2007, and they were formed they are from which European country? Okay. Now, this country experienced an agricultural calamity in the 1800s.
Ireland.
Ireland. They are from Ireland. And of course, I'm talking about the Great Potato Famine, Mr. Arthur, which really encouraged the movement of them out west to here.
Right.
Being a rally, I'm really thankful for this. But here we are. So, back before 2007, before they were formed, they were staying out in Los Angeles, and they worked as producers. They were writing, they're producing, and they worked for different performers. And one of the performers was an entertainer that hails from Louisiana. I want you to name this entertainer. Now, there's a big hint, Mr. Arthur. She calls Kentwood her home, her hometown, even though she was born in Macomb, Mississippi.
Talking about Brittany.
Talking about Brittany.
Oh yeah.
Oops, you did it. So, Mr. Arthur, that is my quiz for this week. The Script is a great band. The song that has been on the tip of all of them's tongue is Break Even. So I will make you listen to that after the podcast, and that's the quiz, Mr. Arthur.
The more you learn.
The more you know. So, Mr. Arthur, do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Well, I think it's been a great semester. Little odd ending semesters a month before Valentine's Day, almost a carnival season. But Mr. Arthur, I think it's been a great day. It's been a great semester, and I think we will see them next week.
From beautiful Arthur Farms, take care of yourself.
That's a lie. That's Winfield. See y'all later. Bye, guys.